squares, you're going to get great big squares.
Excuse me a second, Ron. They're coming in now.
Hey, thank you.
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, I tried it with Photoshop and didn't get all that great a result from it. So I looked around on the internet and I came across one that uses artificial intelligence. And oh my God, this thing is amazing. You got to take a look. You got to take a look at this site because this one is definitely a gem in the a definite keeper. I'll post it up so you can.
Is it from Avant Quest or in Pixio?
Nope.
Okay, because I get a lot of ads from them because I own some of their products, and they have been advertising one to enlarge pictures.
This one's called AI Image Enlarger, and it definitely does what. I mean, it did a far better job than well, it would have taken me an entire day to accomplish what this thing did in less than a minute. The results from it were quite incredible. Like it takes blurry text and cleans that up and sharpens and does a whole lot of other things that make the images look really impressive.
And there is a free for testing, but you only get 8 free credits, and apparently it's not renewable. But it's $9 a month otherwise.
Yeah, this one's definitely.
You better have a lot of large. But if you got a lot of email addresses, you can use it each time you need it.
Yeah.
Well, some of those programs that you can test, and then you can go and sign in with a different account. They also put cookies on your computer, and it knows you've been on with that computer, whether you use a different account or not. So you got to be careful there.
It's easy enough to take out a cookie.
Yep.
Or just use the Avast
Incognito.
bank browser.
You use the Chrome incognito mode too, probably.
Mm-hmm.
The geeks are in the house. Yay!
Yay!
They're still getting ready.
They're still getting ready. Okay.
Yeah.
What are we getting ready for?
You're going to have a big show today.
All right. We only need really one geek for this, so that's better.
No. You know that he's doing everything behind the scenes. Yeah.
Hey guys, can you just raise your hand so you pop up on the top of my screen?
No, I can't do that.
There you go.
How do I do that?
Oh.
Dick, go ahead. Dick.
There we go. Now I'm unmuted. Have you ever heard of a program called Hard Disk Sentinel?
Yeah, I have. I'm using it right now. I got it off the APCUG one that was on.
At a discounted price, right?
Yeah, for like $30, that's pretty damn good.
That's a 40% discount.
It works really well. I found out that my Western Digital portable drives are way inferior to the Seagate ones. I always suspected that they were. Now I know for sure they are.
Well, anyway, I'm going to recommend that anybody who hasn't loaded it on their computer do so. It keeps track of the health of your drives, whether they're solid state or rotating drives, and it provides a wealth of information. There is a link on APCUG to get it for 40% off. Otherwise, it's a $53 pro version. But you can use it as a free version for a trial, and you might want to take a look at it. It is just great. It turned out that I have a solid state internal drive that's not as healthy as I would like to see. And it tells you how many days left you have in using that drive. So I recommend it highly. It was brought to my attention by Mike Ungerman.
Do they
And
have
I'd like
one
to
for-
share that it only works on Windows.
Yeah, I think on the APCUG it was Gabe that came up with it. He was the one that did the presentation on that one.
I
do they
think
have
you're
one
right.
for humans?
Excuse
Do they
me?
have one? Do they have one for humans?
See how many days we got left?
How many days I got left?
I'm gonna grab
And
this
how hot
straight
you're
for a minute,
running,
guys.
Just testing here. If it-
ARP might.
Oh, we can see you.
Perfect.
All right.
Looks real clear.
Yes.
Good.
Looks really clear, like super clear. I don't know.
Let me
Tell 'em
just
how you
clean
do
my
it,
gla-
Jim.
Make sure my glasses are nice and clean, though.
I'm not gonna tell these guys how to do anything. They don't listen.
You must be using OBS.
Well, yeah, but that has nothing to do with this.
No.
Well, it does, I guess, a little.
Yeah.
But yeah, cleaning your glasses is a good thing.
Cleaning the lens of the camera doesn't hurt any either.
Hey, where'd you hear that? I've heard
Yeah.
that.
Hey, don't give away all the tips now. Don't spoil the show.
Let me use my finger here.
Don't spoil the show.
Would you please repeat the name of that hard disk health program again, please?
It's hard disk.
That's Hard Disk Sentinel.
Some of us would actually rather not know how much longer the hard drive is going to last.
Yes, that's I think though with the solid state drives, I mean, I really don't think you see the problems you did. Hewie, what was remember we did a show, was it a couple of years ago where the fella he was a hard drive expert. Remember we had him on and he did a talk all about hard drives and how they work. And do you remember that? That was really good. I think we uploaded it. Didn't you put it on your site or something?
I don't recall which one it was.
There was, he was really good. I thought you did it with
Steve
Stucker.
Gibson.
And it was, he knew about drives and spinning drives and all the good stuff. He was,
Well, Steve Gibson did that one Spin Right. That was one of
Yeah.
the.
yeah, but this was, Huey had him on, I think it was a replay on our show, but you had him on, I think your show and you had taped it or something. I can't remember. It'll probably.
That was the guy that fixes drives. And
That's right. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it is on my site. He's got a real long name and I can't remember it, but yeah, he's a fellow that has a business. It's an international business, but it's based in Orlando.
Right.
And he did it on ways in which they go in and can revive old drives.
Yeah.
That's their business. And so he talked about hard drives and how they work and what goes wrong with them and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
George has his hand up.
Go ahead, George.
pick that up.
So I tried the discount code for the Sentinel on the cheapest package they offered, but it didn't work. So I guess I have to go for the Pro version to get the discount.
Carl, go ahead.
Hi. When I have alerts from Google, it says I'm nearly using up all my 15 gigabyte, and they provide a link to check what I have, and I think I mentioned this in the past. A lot of it had to do with attached videos, but now I've got another alert, so I don't know how they didn't provide, or I didn't see it, the link to my storage on Google. Do you know how I would get there? Because I have another computer next to me and I'm ready to click on settings.
Yeah, it should. The link in that email, the email I sent you, or notification, should just take you right to your account settings. And if you go to your account settings and Google Drive, it'll tell you exactly how much space you have and so on and so forth. It's quite easy. And if the link in that is it a notification or an email?
No, it was a pop-up. And
pop-up, yeah.
When I'm in email, and usually I just click on it, but for whatever reason, I was involved in something else and didn't click on it.
Right.
I thought I'd do it later. Then I said, well, I tried to get there. I went to settings and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, you got to go. So what you can do, George, if you go out and if you go to that little 9-dot menu,
Chris has the answer.
Go ahead, Chris.
one.google.com is where
number one or
ONE.
ONE Google.
ONE.google.com, and you will see and be logged in with your account, and you will see storage at the left-hand menu.
Thank you.
See, aren't we lucky? We're going to have a good show today. We have the pros on today.
Good start.
There you go. I know. It's great. Yeah. Should be a good show.
Yeah, I just put up in the chat the link to the 40% off coupon for that HD Sentinel.
Thanks, Steve.
You're supposed to be a member of an APCUG user group, but we won't tell.
Yeah, don't let the president know, or don't let the treasurer know.
That's cool. My head, they're not working.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Right.
Just one more point on that. Google Photos has, in the latest update, so if you are up to date, has some storage management right in Google Photos. If you open Google Photos, tap on the account button, your little face in the upper right-hand corner, tap on storage, account storage, and there you will see those tools to look for large photos and videos, blurry photos, and all that stuff.
Thank you very much. I'll try that and if I have more questions, I'll catch up at the end. Thank you.
Okay.
Bob, go ahead.
Good morning. I have a question on recording these shows. A group has asked me some advice, and their big question was, how much disk space does it take to record this show?
So I do the recording, so I'm on top of that one. First of all, I would recommend. Do you have a paid account?
They have a paid account.
Okay, then I would record it in the cloud. Don't record it on your local drive. Okay, always record in the cloud. And there's two reasons for that. The first reason is if, like in our show, it's over a gigabyte of data, right? It's a big amount of data. And when you record it and it's on your local drive, it has to be rendered. And there is a software program built into Zoom that renders it for you. But if you do not have a super fast computer with a lot of power, it could suck the life out of your computer for hours and hours.
Good point.
So you do not want to do it on your local computer. Do it in the cloud. Zoom has got better over the last 2 years. I have 1.5 gigabytes is about our show, and they render that in about 30 minutes, and I have it ready for download, and which is incredible. It used to be 2 or 3 hours when they started, but they've got it down to really fast. So I would not do a local storage at all.
Yeah, they only give you 1 gigabyte of storage for free or part of your account. So, but they do allow you a certain amount of time to download it.
Right.
So as soon as it's rendered, you want to download it.
You want to just download
it and delete it from your from the cloud. I posted the link to that drive info that Ron talked about. It was a show that we did for the Central Florida Computer Society main meeting, and And so that's the YouTube that I just posted about the great drive info.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Bob,
Appreciate it.
Bob, did you have any other questions? Just don't do it. Just don't do a local drive. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I
don't
understand.
do it. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any? So Jim Glass, go ahead.
With all this talk about Google, I've been having a great deal of difficulty working with the so-called new Google Workspace. It keeps saying we can integrate all our email accounts and what have you under one item, and I haven't been able to figure out how to do it. So I just would suggest or ask if somebody could put them together a little how-to, because I've looked for tutorials and I haven't found anything that this old brain can comprehend.
Yeah, you know, and Jim, I'm on top of that, but I don't have it yet. And I keep asking, I don't think Bob or Hewie or I don't think anyone's got it yet. You're probably the
I
first.
have it. I have it, but I only have one account. So I have nothing to consolidate.
Okay.
I don't consolidate them.
But Jim, that's certainly in my list of things to do, because you're right, it's all changing and we should get some videos out on that. So that's jobs in progress.
Yeah, well, it seems like in the computer world, every time they give us a new improved update, it screws up everything.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Or we have to learn something new.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jim, just let you know, it's on the list.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, we have 2 minutes before we get going.
Welcome to people who have not been here before.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Well, I'll be welcoming you in a minute. So we're going to be starting the show in a couple of minutes. What have we got? We got 92, almost a full house. Chris really packs them in, doesn't she? Elaine, go ahead.
Gotta unmute myself. Just a quick question, I hope. Probably for Bob. Avast came up on my sister's computer with a message saying a new device has joined your network, and then the name is SAGEM. Does anybody know what SAGEM is, and could it have anything to do with Amazon Alexa? Because we had been playing with Amazon Alexa. That's all I can think of that we might have done that might have been detected as a new device somehow.
I don't know what SAG.
Sorry, we'll do this in the.
We'll do that at the end.
Yeah, we'll do it at the end because we got to start the show now. All right, so I'm going to. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody. And we will get going. Tech for Senior. It is episode 106. It is April the 4th. We have 96 people in our Zoom meeting today and a whole bunch more over on YouTube. Welcome everybody to Tech for Senior. This is a weekly show. It's being broadcast, of course, on Zoom, but we are feeding it over onto YouTube as well. So if you're over on our YouTube feed, welcome. The YouTube feed's a little bit different than our Zoom meeting, and it will be we'll be ending our broadcast over on YouTube about 10 minutes before the hour. It's going to be a big show today, pretty tight. If you want to come over, we've got 3 spots left so far because we only have a license for 100, but we can get you in for the Q&A. So, and that will go to about 1:30. And then of course, we have our premiere service, which starts at 1:30. This week, we have just to update you on what we're going to be. We'll be Dewey Cluse will be talking on ATSC 3.0, the next generation. I'll be doing part 1 of virtual reality for seniors. And then Huey's going to talk on removing text formatting when copying and pasting. And that will be on our free premiere service at 1:30. The link was in the newsletter that we went out on Saturday, and I also put it in the chat. And I will again put it in the chat a couple of more times through the show, so that you shouldn't have a problem finding it. And that will be starting broadcasting at 1:30. Now, we also have a show on Thursday called Tech for Senior Live, which we do, and it's where we look at the news of the past week, and we always have a lot of fun. We drink some coffee, have a lot of fun, talk about tech. So if you want to join us and have some fun, please come along for Thursday morning. We also have a podcast. If you can't find us any other way, you can listen to us with a podcast. We podcast our Thursday show. I want to thank everyone for coming today. It's your enthusiasm that keeps us making videos and coming. We gain a lot of work often goes into the products that we produce. We have over 500 videos now that are on YouTube, and we put a lot of effort into it. And our enthusiasm comes from you coming in and logging. I have to tell you a secret. We get a real rush when there's 99 people watching us today. It pumps up our ego really a lot. So thank you for coming. The other thing I want to thank is the people who help us with the show, people who help us in the chat, people who in the question and answer, who help us with questions we don't know, because sometimes we don't know the answer and you do. So for those of people who are helping us, thank you as well. And if you want to participate in the show, you have an expertise or something you want to talk about, please let me know. We're happy to. We don't have a monopoly on the show. We're happy to have somebody else talk. So please just let me know. I want to thank 2 people this week, Pat Aucoin and John Roy, for their generous donation to our coffee fund. And that helps us pay the bills and keep the old wheels grinding. So let me introduce, I'm going to, of course, introduce Chris Gould, who's our special guest today. I'm going to introduce her a little bit later, but I'm going to introduce our regular gang today. Certainly the first person I want to introduce is Hewie Poplock, my co-host of this show. Hewie, have you got anything to say?
Yeah, I'm not regular, I'm high test. And my price is increasing.
Yeah. Well, we had a busy, did we do learning Chromebooks last week? I can't remember.
No, it's been a couple of weeks. I sent out the notice late.
Oh yeah, okay, everyone got the notice, yeah.
But I did go out to everybody who was registered for the learning Chromebooks, with the link to the recording.
Everyone should have got OS 100 now, so that would be on Chromebooks. But I guess we'll be doing it another couple of weeks. Man, the months
I just realized next Sunday this coming Sunday is the CFCS Windows Special Interest Group. So
right,
I got to get my butt in gear. So
tell everybody about that. Tell everybody about what you're doing next Sunday.
Every second Sunday of every month for the past many years, I've been doing the Central Florida Computer Society Windows Special Interest Group, or WinSig. And when I moved about 7 years ago from the Orlando area, I continued to do the SIG via Zoom, and we're still doing it. And it's open to any of you are welcome. Just go to hewie.net and sign up for my newsletter, and it will be sent out towards the end of this week, and there'll be a link there for the meeting.
Great, thank you. And our newest drone pilot, Bob Gustisha. So tell us your experience. Where the heck's going on with you? Are you new career or what?
it's sitting on the kitchen table waiting for this show to end so I can devote a little time and hopefully get it off the ground. Batteries are charged. The wings are all attached. The show has to end.
Are you gonna take some movies? Are you gonna do some video with it?
It has a 720p camera attached, and I'm hoping to use it. We'll see.
Yeah, take some videos of your house in your area that you're in, and then you can show us. That'd be sort of cool, eh? Yeah. Okay, great. And of course, we have Ray Baxter from Pine, Arizona, president of APCUG.
Good morning, Ron. So I've been spending the last few days converting how many of you have your family videos, maybe on 8mm cassette tapes that you took in the 90s?
Oh,
and
wow.
They're sitting in a drawer somewhere. And of course, because it's analog and it's tape, they're deteriorating. So I've converting all my tapes into digital files and then separating them into individual clips, because on a 2-hour tape, I can go from snow to the beach. So I'm going to do a presentation for you guys, maybe next week or the week after, showing you exactly what I've been doing and how I'm saving these for my family.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. That would be I'd be really interested in that. Thanks so much for doing that. And of course, Dewey said not to bother him because he's packing. He's busy getting ready to go. He's leaving Arizona. It's too hot there. So he's heading north. So he said, don't bother him. He's packing today. So we will we'll pass on that. Is Bill James around? I can't. So where's Bill? Oh, there you are down there. How come you're not up at the top of my screen?
Well, yeah, I had trouble getting in for some reason this morning.
Oh, okay.
So I was late to the party. But
that's not like you.
I know, but
are the first, coming in,
But I had no audio when I tried to log on, and then I discovered my computer was trying to update. I don't know if that caused all the problems or not, but once I got that all settled, I was able to get in. But I'm anxious to hear about Bob's drone. I've had a drone for about 3 years now and only flown it once inside of a building.
All right. Well, listen, this isn't topic today, isn't about drones. We want to get to Chris quickly. So if I spend all my time yakking away here, we're not going to get to Chris. So Bob, are you ready to roll with our security?
Sure as all heck hope so.
All right, I'm stopping talking. There you go.
Here is the Avast Security News Roundup for the week ending April 1st, 2022. How is March Madness like cybersecurity? Cyber strategist Pete Lindstrom maintained in an article in CSO that cybersecurity risk is constantly changing in a way analogous to the probability odds in a March Madness tournament. Observing the constant data analysis on the 538 March Madness prediction website throughout the games, seeing each team's chances of success swing wildly back and forth, game by game. Lindstrom likened it to the way cybersecurity risk is changing in real time as we identify new vulnerabilities and attacks. But also when we add or remove users, implement or retire systems, or simply use existing systems more, he goes on to defend cyber risk quantification, suggesting that with data-oriented analysis, not only can we provide predictions, but we can evaluate those predictions over time using well-established methods. Some researchers, however, are skeptical about cyber risk quantification, arguing that knowing the amount of risk is not as important as simply having strong cybersecurity. The number of variables involved, commented Avast security evangelist Louis Carones, is so immense that I fail to see how cyber risk quantification could be a benefit versus investing in real cyber defense. 600 million in crypto stolen from Ronin blockchain. Hackers exploited a backdoor in a blockchain's network to approve their own fraudulent withdrawals of 591 million in Ethereum cryptocurrency and 25.5 million in stablecoin USDC. Sky Mavis is the parent company of Axie Infinity, the play-to-earn blockchain game that relies on the Ronin network. The large payload makes this one of the largest crypto scams in history. We are working with law enforcement officials, forensic cryptographers, and our investors to make sure there is no loss to user funds, Ronin reported in their blog. For more on this story, see Motherboard. Free message scam targets Verizon customers. A phishing scam aimed at Verizon customers sends texts that seem to come from users' own numbers and which promise a free gift if the user click on a link. One Verizon customer posted about it on the Verizon community blog, to which a Verizon support representative replied, "We cannot confirm it is a valid link." In an email to CNET, a Verizon rep wrote, "Verizon is aware that bad actors are sending spam text messages to some customers which appear to come from the customer's own numbers. Our team is actively working to block these messages, and we have engaged with U.S. law enforcement to identify and stop the source of this fraudulent activity." Study links social media use to bad mental health in teens. In a new study led by psychologist Amy Orban at the University of Cambridge, social media use was linked to gloomy outlooks among teens, particularly around the time of puberty and when they are about to leave home. Orban and her team surveyed over 72,000 people between 10 and 80 years old in the UK. They were surveyed up to 7 times each between 2011 and 2018 and asked a series of questions about life satisfaction and their social media use. Teens who used social media more frequently during puberty or when they were leaving home scored lower on measures of life satisfaction. For more survey results, see The Verge. DDoS for hire attacks cost less than a used car. A recent report shows that threat actors increasingly use distributed denial of service as a complementary tool to intimidate victims. Ransomware gangs are keen adopters of the technique, developing a multi-vector threat often used against victims refusing to pay. Ransomware as a service affiliates can supplement their illicit activity with DDoS attacks, mainly because of cybercrime's developed ecosystem. A recent report by NestCount shows that unleashing a swarm of bots on a victim costs a lot less than it might seem. Most DDoS for hire vendors often offer free trials to test basic attacks before ordering the real thing. Read more at Cyber News. Russian Aviation Authority switches to paper after losing 65 terabyte of data. Russian Telegram channel Aviatorshina said that Rosaviatsia was hit by a cyber attack on Saturday, leading to the collapse of its entire network. Documents, mail, and files were allegedly erased. Approximately 65 terabytes of data has been lost. According to Aviatorchina's source close to the matter, the agency lost a 1.5-year worth of emails and has no backups to restore its system. The source also said that the prosecutor's office of the FSB have been working with Rosaviatsia since Saturday. The outages were likely caused by a cyber attack. The agency has presumably regained its access to the email service and expects to fully restore access to its data storage soon. More on this at Cyber News. This week's must-read on the Avast blog. before you download another application from the more than 3 million that are in the Google Play Store, read up on a few simple things you can do to protect yourself from malicious apps. Read the article at the following link or watch my video on this topic by following the YouTube link. And that wraps up this week's Avast Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and get involved.
Thanks, Bob. Hey, you do really well with some of those words.
You don't want to know how much editing went into that particular one little thing with that Russian accent.
How long? How many times did you pronounce that, saying that Russian word before you got it right?
Quite often. Quite often. I'm pretty good with linguistics, but they got to me a couple of times.
I thought you did a really good job with that. I thought, oh well, I was just thinking, how many times did he practice that one? Okay,
editing.
Okay, let's see what Dewey has to say. Hopefully he can stop hacking and watch. Let's have a look here. Let's see what he has to say.
I am listening, by the way.
Okay, all right. There you go.
Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is USB 4. What is it and what's new? This is my third Tech Talk on USB ports and cables, and as I promised last week, I'll be telling you more about USB 4 today. Now, is it USB 4 without a dash, or is it USB 4 without a dash or a space? Well, the USB Implementers Forum states that USB 4, no dash or space, USB Type-C, and USB-C are USB IF registered trademarks. The USB Implementers Forum makes it clear that any discussion of USB 4 needs to include Thunderbolt 3 and Thunderbolt 4. Thunderbolt is a trademark belonging to the Intel Corporation. I'll talk with you a little bit more about that later. According to the USB IF, USB 4 represents a major update that enables the highest USB bandwidth to be available while extending the capabilities of the USB Type-C connectors' data transmission performance. USB 4 builds on the existing USB 3.2 architecture that was as sophisticated as it got at that level, and defines a method of sharing a single high-speed link with multiple devices when transmitting data. USB 4 is able to transmit data at 20 gigabits per lane using existing USB Type-C cables or 40 gigabits per second if both lanes are used to perform a two-lane operation. However, 40 gigabytes USB IF certified cables are necessary in that situation. Key USB 4 characteristics also include multiple data and display protocols for efficient sharing of bandwidth and backward compatibility with USB 3.2 and USB 2.0 and Thunderbolt 3. Thus far, I've only spoken on data transfer and display protocols in USB 4. So what about USB power delivery? Well, the USB IF has imposed limitations on standards it sets for cable assemblies and connectors certification. And here's the skinny on this. The USB IF cable assembly and connectors certification program is available only to cables that are defined in the USB 2.0, USB 3.2, and USB Type-C specifications. Interestingly, one of these specifications states captive cables are not eligible for USB IF certification. So what's a captive cable? Well, a captive cable is defined as a cable that has one USB connector and is either permanently attached to its device or has a non-USB connector on the other end. So that's the story of Morning Glory. In 2021, The USB-IF issued USB Power Delivery Revision 3.1, a major update that enabled the delivery of up to 240 watts of power over full-featured USB Type-C cables and connectors. In other words, the very heaviest duty. This expanded the use of USB power delivery to a larger number of devices and applications where the previous 100 watt maximum just simply wasn't adequate. Revision 3.1 also enables the maximum functionality of USB by providing more flexible power delivery along with data. In other words, power and data over a single cable. And that is unbelievable. USB 4 is obviously a very complex and difficult to understand subject. And I hope your eyes aren't too glazed over at this point. A lady named Michelle, writing in a MacSales.com blog, clarified it by saying, here's what you really know. So the rest of my tech talk is going to be what Michelle said. USB-C is a connection type. USB-C is not Thunderbolt 3, Thunderbolt 4, or USB 4. It's only the connection type that those technologies use. To understand the difference between those technologies, you have to go past the USB-C connector, even though they all share it. Thunderbolt 3 and 4 and USB 4 are communication standard, or a protocol that provides a set of features for a computer to interact with through that particular USB connection. So again, that's their communication standards. All three of these communication standards use the USB-C connection type to connect computers and devices. And of course, you see them demonstrated in the graphic at the upper left. The difference between Thunderbolt 3 and Thunderbolt 4 is that Thunderbolt 4 guarantees certain specifications that are optional with the Thunderbolt 3 standard. Thunderbolt 4 is always 40 gigabits per second, while Thunderbolt 3 and USB 4 can operate at either 20 or 40 gigabits per second. But by the way, there are some special specifications for that 40 gigabit speed. The difference between Thunderbolt 3 and USB 4 is purely in the name. The actual standards are identical. In fact, Intel's giving the Thunderbolt 3 standard to the USB Implementers Forum allowed for the adoption of this technology on USB 4 devices. As far as cables go, regardless of whether the device is USB 4 or Thunderbolt 4, it's best to purchase a Thunderbolt 4 cable to work with any of those devices to ensure full compatibility. Since Thunderbolt 4 includes support for USB ports and DisplayPort, if you see the Thunderbolt logo, which is a small lightning bolt and the number 4 on the cable, you know that this connection can do it all. And if you look to the right, carefully, you can see that Thunderbolt and that number 4. So what is DisplayPort? Michelle ended her blog without explaining, and this is a good place for me to end as well. Joanne and I are busy preparing to leave Mesa, Arizona on Thursday for our home in Minnesota. Going through Denver, by the way. Consequently, if I'm not able to finish this topic next Monday, I will do so in a couple of weeks. Well, thanks for watching, and I'm sticking with this one. Golly, my brain is about fried because this is a complicated subject, and I hope I've helped you rather than hampered you. Well, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you probably in 2 weeks. Bye now.
Thank you. Dewey. Thanks a lot. That was very informative and enlightening. Now, before we get to Chris, Bob has a short video for us. And I put this in because this is one of the best features of Chrome, the new Chrome 100. And Bob did this great video on it. And I thought, we got to play this. Watch this.
Up till now, if you're using Google Chrome and you had several tabs open, and unfortunately one of them was playing audio, whether it's via a video or just an audio file, but you're busy working on a different website, on a different tab, Google does let you know that, yes, there is audio playing. But from here, you can't do anything to quiet that tab unless you go back to the tab and mute that audio and stop the video. That may not be what you want to do. You may be busy working on something and all of a sudden an audio or video file started playing in the background. You don't really want to leave what you're working on, but right now you're forced to do so. That's all changed once Chrome 100 was released, because there's now a way to set it up so that you can, from the browser tab, shut up the audio. Let me show you how that's done.
To furry friends. Because good sleep.
Once you've updated to Chrome 100 and your browser is open, open a new tab, and in here, in the address bar, type Chrome://flags. Once you've typed that in there, hit the enter button. It opens this up, and in the search bar for the flags, type mute. Again, hit enter. Once this opens, you'll see tab audio muting UI control. Click the down arrow and select enable. It'll ask you to relaunch the browser. Let's do that. Now let's go back to that site where we had the video in the back with audio. Let me start this back up again.
Improving your health.
Go back to the page that I originally had open and was working on. And yes, you can hear the audio in the background. But now you can go up here and click on this, and it will turn off that audio on the other tab. You haven't left the page you're looking at or working on, but you've been able to now mute the audio that's playing in the other tab. If it's music and you want to listen to it again, even though you're on a different tab, just go ahead and start it up again by clicking on that little icon. And you're back to hearing the background music. So you can turn it off and on at will without ever leaving the tab that you're actually concentrating on. Stay safe, stay secure. I hope that helps. And let me shut that off. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. But that's not in OS 100. It's not behind a flag, right? You're muted.
I was in OS 100.
And you still have to set a flag. I didn't.
Yes.
Because on my Chromebook, on my system, I didn't flag it, and it was there.
No, I was using Chrome 100.
Okay, have a look, because you might on mine I didn't have to set a flag, and it was right there, the muting of the audio. So you guys can have a look at it and see. Maybe because it may just be there. They may have automatically.
It may already have changed it automatically.
Yeah.
So you can just simply click on that little icon to turn it on and off.
Turn it on.
Because I started originally with 99 in order to show that it doesn't work, and then switched over to 100.
Okay. All right. Let me thank you, Bob, and let me introduce, of course, Chris Gould and Jim Gould. Actually, we'll introduce them both. I think they probably need little introduction, but I will go over a few things. As you know, Chris Gould is an expert, a product expert on Google Photos. She also is a very accomplished photographer, and did a show. They have a button show. It's my favorite Sunday show called The Button Show, and she did a talk a couple of weeks ago on using her camera and how to take better digital pictures. And I was following along with my Pixel 6, and I learned so much. I said, you know, you have to do that on our show, and she agreed to do that today. She, of course, is accompanied by her better half, or however I'll put that. Jim is the production expert, and he helps produce all the videos and all the shows. So we are so lucky to have them here, because they're heading off on a big trip tomorrow, actually. And I was, just because I will tell you how famous they are, we have 100 people in the, we are totally full, and we've got a whole bunch over on our YouTube. So Chris, they all want me to stop talking, and they want you to get on with the show. So I'm going to let you take it away. All right. I think we've made you co-host.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Take it away.
All right. So hello, everybody, and thank you, Ron, for inviting us. We usually come to this Monday show. I like learning the new things. People who like to learn a lot, and you guys do a great job on. I call it a variety show of tech.
Okay.
So I'm Chris,
And I'm Jim.
and Slideshow.
And we are Geeks on Tour.
We are Geeks on Tour. So this is about smartphone photography. And yes, we did a show on our channel a couple weeks ago, and you can see that whole hour by going to, next slide, geeksontour.com. And it's our YouTube, there's a menu for YouTube show, and it's number 230. We did a full hour on my top tips for smartphone photography. So today I've been told 18 minutes. So I'm going to talk real fast. I have decided on the things that I think are most important. First, I'd like to, well, I can't see everybody, but for the people I can see, go ahead and raise hands. How many of you have iPhone? Okay, and how many Android? And how many both? That looked like... Okay, well, perfect. We find that our audience is about half and half, so I do have both. I have an iPhone SE and I have a Samsung S21 Ultra, and so you're just going to have to pay attention. I will go back and forth. I will tell you which one I'm using. And I want everybody to get out their phone. Go ahead, get it out and try along with me. First, I'm going to take a selfie, but I want to show you, I like using the timer for a selfie. So this one, I'm using my iPhone, and I would go into the camera, and I want to set a timer. I should see a little clock icon. I don't. So how do you find the clock icon and set a timer? You see this little up arrow in the center at the top? Tap that, and it reveals another row of tools. One of those tools is the timer, and I'm going to set it for 3 seconds. All right. Now I'm going to go into selfie mode, and I have the timer set for 3 seconds. So what that means is I can tap the shutter button right now, and then I have 3 seconds to get it positioned. I need to clean the lens. And that's the main point of this. So I clean the lens, and now I'm going to take another selfie. And so I tap the shutter button, and now I can position it. You know, that gives me 3 seconds to stretch my one arm out without having to use the other one and tap it. So setting a timer and cleaning the lens are the 2 tips for that little one. Now let's see what those photos look like. I'm using an iPhone, but I like to view my photos using Google Photos. So I'm going to open up Google Photos. And there's the one photo. That's the one after cleaning the lens. Oh, and notice I had motion on. We'll deal with that at the end. That was the one after cleaning the lens. There's the one before cleaning the lens. What a difference, yes? So make sure to clean the lens. Now, I have this nice little microfiber cloth, but an edge of a t-shirt is just fine. Or at the very least, every time before you take a picture, take a look and see if the lens has a greasy fingerprint on it. Back to slides. Next slide is what lens? Well, if you're taking a regular photo, it's of the rear lens. You know, if I'm taking a regular photo, it's this lens that needs to be cleaned. But when I'm taking a selfie, the lens is right on the screen and you might not even see it. So how can you tell for sure where that lens is? Let me show you. So I have it on selfie mode now. And if I know it's up at the top here somewhere. If I just rub my finger over there, I can tell that that's where it is because I'm covering it up. So that's what needs to be clean before you take a selfie. So that was tip number 1, clean the lens. Tip number 2 is hold the phone like a camera. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you started out with these kind of cameras, right? This cost me $1,000, probably another $1,000 for another lens. I never use it anymore because smartphones are so good. But what I want you to remember is when you would take a picture with this camera, almost always you are holding it horizontal. Now, once in a while, there's a reason to hold it vertical, and that's fine. But so with a phone, when you're using it as a phone, you hold it vertical. But when you're using it as a camera, so go into camera mode, hold it like a camera. 2 things. 1, you get a horizontal picture. And 2, your fingers are right by the volume controls. Did you know that pressing the volume button, either up or down, will take a picture? And that's a lot less jerking the phone around than figuring out how to hold it one-handed and then taking the other hand and... Next slide. Now, why do I say to hold it horizontal? The number 1 reason, well, the only reason, is because I like to look at pictures on a computer or on a big screen TV. If I've taken a vertical picture, that's an awful lot of wasted space. What do you think between these 2 pictures? Isn't the horizontal one more impressive? You know, if you always only look at your pictures on your phone, then I don't care, because you can fill the screen of your phone either horizontally or vertically. But if you ever want to look at your pictures on a bigger screen, you will love yourself if you've taken them horizontal. So that was 1 and 2. Number 3 is how to manually set focus. I mean, these are pretty good at autofocus, but they autofocus in the center of the picture. Here we have a little pre-recorded segment because this is kind of hard to show on a live. All you have to do, especially with an iPhone, is just tap the screen. On Androids, there may be more.
Hi, this is Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and this smartphone lesson is about using the camera and setting your focus manually by tapping the screen. I will demonstrate setting focus on both Apple and Android using my iPhone 6 Plus and my Samsung Galaxy S5. Your phone might be different.
My Apple iPhone 6 in my hands, and I have an Apple Near. If you tap it, that gets in focus and properly exposed. Or if I tap Jim in the background, that's what gets in focus and properly exposed. If you want to adjust the exposure even further, you can drag that little sun that appears. Dragging it up brightens the exposure, dragging it down turns it down. If I then move the phone, though, it will change. It will readjust to its automatic. So if for some reason you want to lock it onto setting the exposure and focus to Jim, you just long press, hold down until you see that AEAF. Now you can reframe your picture, do whatever you want, and the focus and exposure stays the same. To turn that off, you either get out of the camera, go back home, or long press again. Okay, we can stop it there. Now, what I showed on another episode of our What Does This Button Do show is on my Samsung S21 Ultra. You need to long press on the spot where you want to change your exposure. Just a tap should change the focus, but if you want to change the exposure, you long press, and then you can rub left or right to manually adjust your exposure, lower or brighter. So that was number 3. Tip number 4 is know your settings. So there's a ton of settings. I think you should go through every one and see that they are set the way you like. I'm just going to show you 3. The grid, the HDR, and location tags. And I'm going to do it with both. I'll do the Apple first, then the Android. So on the Apple, you get into settings by first going into your system settings and then finding camera. So right there. So system settings and then camera. Oh, formats. This is one that you should probably look at. This is where that high efficiency, the HEIC, if you don't like taking HEIC, and I have a whole other video on this, then you want to change this to most compatible. That will mean your phone takes JPEGs. HEIC is good though. I do recommend it. Okay. Then the ones, grid. Here is grid. If it's off, then when you take a picture, when you're looking at your camera, you will not see guidelines. I like those guidelines. They help me keep my horizon straight and to do composition of my photos. So I say turn the grid on. And Smart HDR. HDR here stands for high dynamic range. It's talking about taking a photo where you have bright spots and dark spots. One exposure will not do it well. HDR will set different exposures for different parts. So having that on just means your phone will get better exposures. Then the last one is about location tags. And for that, that's not in the camera settings. In Apple, that is considered a privacy. So you tap on privacy, location services, and then find the camera, and I want it on. You know, I travel a lot, and I never know where a picture was, where was that picture taken? I want a map attached to that picture, which will only happen if you have location access turned on for your camera. All right, so that was iPhone. I hope everybody took a look at theirs. In Android, the same settings are available, but you don't go into system settings, you go into camera. And then the settings button is this gear. And on this particular phone, I also have the high efficiency format option, and I like it. You don't need to put it on if you don't want to. And then what? Auto HDR. There it is. You should turn it on. Grid lines and location tags. So that's all in settings. Take a look at your settings and make sure they're how you like. We'll answer questions in the Q&A after the show, but if you have something that's burning that you just didn't understand something I said, go ahead and put it in chat and we'll see if there's, yeah.
Bill wants to know, is there a way to auto-rotate the video recording? We seem to get portrait view if we start the recording upright and then turn the phone to landscape. Is that on Zoom?
Good question. I don't think so. I think you do need to start it the way you need it, but I haven't played with that in a while. Okay, so that was number 4. What's number 5?
Know how to edit your photos.
And don't you think this is really the most important?
There's always the most important.
Other than cleaning your lens. I mean, if you have a dirty lens, your photo is garbage. There's nothing you can do about it. But almost anything else can be fixed by editing if you know how to edit. Now, on the iPhone, if you don't use Google Photos, you use this. I call that Apple Photos. And I'm going to use Google Photos, but I just want you to know that if you don't, each option I'm going to show you also exists in the Apple Photos editor. And on Android, if you don't use Google Photos, you probably use Gallery. If you have a Samsung, you have Gallery. And all the editing features I'm going to show do exist in Gallery. But I'm going to use Google Photos because it works the same on both. So I go into Google Photos, and I have some samples already lined up. What do you think of that picture? Yuck. If you didn't know how to edit, you would say that picture is garbage and you would throw it away. But all I have to do is tap Edit and tap Enhance, this is Google Photos Auto or Magic Wand, and all photo editors have it. Boom. One tap, and now that is a keeper. All right, but I'm gonna. And now, what's wrong with this picture?
All the water's going to run off into the screen.
It's crooked. Please don't ever post a crooked picture. It's so easy to fix. Edit. And on all photo editors, most all photo editors, it's part of the crop. It's crop and rotate. And with this one, I just put my finger on the 0 point and go one way or the other. I get a grid and I can line up my horizon with the grid. Now it's a straight picture. I save it. And now I'm allowed to post that. And not if it's crooked.
You're not going to play this.
Oh, I was going to. What time? What time are we at? Oh no, I'm late, aren't I? Yeah.
Chris, we'll give you another 5 minutes if you want. So if you want to play.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Don't worry, we can go over.
No video. Okay. This one, it's crooked and it's kind of muddy. So I edit. I do a crop and rotate to get this mountain straight. I crop to get closer into the mountain, and that's a better picture. This one, these are my 2 best girlfriends, and I can't see their faces at all. Edit. I'll try just the enhance, but that doesn't lighten it up anywhere near. I want to get rid of the shadows, but I don't want to brighten the Morro Rock in the background. So I need to find, under adjustment, find shadows. And both the Apple and the Gallery have it too. I find shadows, and now I just slide the slider. So see how that's getting rid of the shadow without washing out the sky. Okay. And last is Snapseed. Now, Snapseed is another app, but it's free. It's from Google, and it just does some really cool stuff. It does what I call beautify. So here's a picture of Jim and me in Brisbane, Australia. This is a nice picture. There's nothing wrong with it, but I want to beautify it. I can get to Snapseed from Google Photos with this More. Snapseed is a separate app. You have to install it. Snapseed and tools. There's lots of tools, but the one I call Beautify is underneath Tune Image, and it's called Ambiance. Now I just rub my finger left and right to increase or decrease. Do you see what that did? That has a wow factor, I think, whereas the original was dull. So that's Snapseed. Okay, and back to the slides. So that's knowing how to edit. And we did a whole show on Snapseed too. Now this is, we don't have time to show you this, but if your phone takes live or motion photos, and both my iPhone and my Samsung do, use them, because then you'll have 3 seconds of motion. I take a picture of 3 people, one of them has their eyes closed, but if I took a motion photo, I can find the frame in that 3-second motion where everybody has their eyes open. Motion photos, I think, are really, really valuable, and we did a whole show on them, episode 223. It also takes, the motion is actually recorded before you snap the shutter. Anybody ever tried taking pictures of lightning? By the time you snap the shutter, the lightning's gone, right? If you're using motion photo, it captured it because it captures the seconds before you snap the shutter. Pretty amazing. So, did you learn something?
Clean the lens.
Number 1, clean the lens.
Hold the phone like a camera. Manually set your focus. Review your camera settings. Know how to edit. And use live motion photos.
And if you want to learn more, go to geeksontour.com YouTube show. And what was the... And number 230, episode 230.
All right. Is that enough? We're out of here.
Unless you want to stay here for a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's enough for now.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Excellent. Thank you so much. You'll be able to stick around at the in the question Q&A?
Yeah,
okay, great. Super. They'll probably have lots of questions.
Leave. She'll stay.
All right. Listen, I want to thank everyone. So Ray will get into Ray's music in a second. I just want to remind the people over on YouTube that it is time that we say goodbye. I did put in the chat the link to our premiere video. If you want to watch it, that would be great. Otherwise, we'll see you again next week. I noticed that we have 5 spots over here on our Zoom meeting. If you want to pop over, we can let the next 5 people into the show, and if you want to participate in the Q&A. All right, as I stop the live video, live